From the firstregional.com studios, this is a Severe Weather Live update.
Well, good evening, Arkansas, to everybody out there in the Natural State. Welcome to Natural State Live. Of course, we are having a severe weather update for us here around the state. Overall, we've not seen the biggest in terms of severe weather events. As you know, earlier this evening or earlier today, we were expecting more of a widespread issue, especially up in northwest Arkansas. We didn't really get that going today. A lot of it has to do with the fact that we did have an outflow boundary and cold front that has kept second south. A lot of our heavy rainfall has moved and so far has kept what looked to be a more prominent severe threat on the lower side of things. This September, we're used to not seeing a lot of severe weather this time of year, so really this is a good thing, especially as we're just now starting to break into the fall season. Obviously, right now, as you can see across the state right now, we do have a line of storms stretching from Jonesboro over towards Searcy, over towards Atkins, and then, of course, down here towards Mena. Obviously, our folks up here in northwest Arkansas, we are done up here. Folks like Fayetteville, Silent Springs, Bentonville, Rogers, over towards Harrison, we are done. Mountain Home, we're done in terms of severe weather this evening. Leslie, we are done. Really, overall, the severe threat is not necessarily that strong. Cameron, if you will, let's zoom in on our lone severe storm around the state right now, and this goes for places like Mena, Y-City, Waldron, up to Boonville. And then, of course, obviously, this is going to be tracking off towards the southeast over the next few hours. Of course, the further southeast this goes, while we do have those severe ingredients in place, what we don't have is energy. All of our energy is mainly up north. So what we're doing is we are dealing with energy separated from the main thing. So once again, just to mention this as we go here, again, the biggest issues are Mena, Y-City, Waldron. This is where we're going to expect mainly 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-size hail, really over the next 30 minutes or so. Again, we've not seen a prominent tornado threat over the last couple of hours. Again, we are entering that period where your tornado threat could start waning as we get deeper into the nighttime hours. Again, we are not expecting a major tornado risk. We will see a very isolated risk at that into the overnight hours. But for the most part, though, we are not expecting a widespread event. You may get an isolated tornado or two, but we're not going to see, let's say, a very wide event. We never expected one of those high-end events to begin with. But again, the biggest concern for us going into the overnight hours is going to be flooding, especially anywhere along and southeast of this line. So right now, we're mainly worried areas along the River Valley, Russellville, Danville, Paris, places like this that have had several inches of rain this week already. And now we're going to be talking about places like Waldron, Mena, Mount Ida, Hot Springs Village, and then, of course, always on towards Benton and the Metro as we head towards the 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock hour this evening is when we will be talking about possibility of flooding to go along with any minor severe weather that is going to be seen. You can actually see this entire area of storms from our Alexander Skycam, but again, those storms are still about 40 to 60 miles away from the downtown area, from the metro, so we're not going to worry about that just yet. Again, the main severe threat does exist right now out here in western Arkansas. Cameron, if you will, let's go to our velocity, if you don't mind, just to kind of... Yeah, of course. Yep. So, yeah, so like Cameron said, one thing about it is this is a brand new setup. We just set everything up over the last couple of weeks. Kind of went to a more in-person mode when it comes to dealing with this type of event. Again, we set up a studio, went from what you saw in the spring to what we have now. We do have a full functioning, semi-functioning. We're still working out a few minor kinks. We thought we had a few more weeks to work out those kinks ahead of severe weather fall. But again, obviously, Arkansas weather does its own thing, as you well know. So bear with us, folks. This is our very first live stream on the new setup with everything that we have. You know, shout out to our chief engineer, Ryan. He's done a fantastic job. Shout out to Cameron as well, helping us get everything ready for severe weather, winter weather, really for these newscasts coming up into the future, because this is going to be the future of what we do here at Arkansas Weather Watchers. But once again, as I mentioned, we are watching this area of storms here, mainly over in Scott County. Again, that warning goes here for about another 25 minutes or so. Again, this is going to be tracking off towards the southeast here at about 30 to 40 miles an hour. Again, as you can see, we don't have much in the way of rotation, but we do have very strong winds. We do have about 55 to 60 mile per hour winds right in between Waldron, and then of course obviously this will be tracking on down towards White City, and then obviously on down towards Meta, Board Camp as well, and then on towards Odin, and then down towards Mount Ida as we head over the next hour or so. But as I mentioned before, not much in the way of severe weather going on right now when you talk about tornadoes. The biggest threat, we've not had a single warning. Fingers crossed we maintain that throughout much of the evening hours and into the overnight hours. However, we are dealing with, when it comes to widespread flooding, we've seen up to 10 inches of rain has fallen across much of the River Valley and into northwest Arkansas through much of the day today, much of the week so far, and even over the weekend. Well, we really only had a day or so break in between our rainfall events. So what's happened is all this rainfall is building into very saturated grounds. So even though you don't get those very high winds, you will be getting winds that can still topple trees and power lines because your ground is so wet. Yes, sir. Yes. Yes. Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Trying to fix the issues over here.
Okay. Yeah, no problem at all. Again, you know, this is why we are live on Natural State Live here on Roku and Fire TV on the website, and then of course on YouTube as well. That way we can get a good feeling here for how things are going to go as we go into the fall and the winter as well, especially, and going forward into 2026 as well. But once again, as I mentioned, you know, again, the bigger areas of concern do continue to be our folks here in Waldron, down towards Y City, and down towards Mena as well. Again, obviously, we do have a lot of flooding going on in Greenwood up towards Boonville and Blue Mountain over towards Mount Magazine as well. Cameron, if you would, let's zoom back out here and just get a better look here around the state again. Again, as you can see, let's go back to, there you go, our live Doppler around the state. Again, as you can see, we do have this area of storms right now across parts of Texas. This is going to be Oklahoma and Texas. So this is where your strongest line of storms is, and this is going to be pushing into southwest Arkansas after 10 o'clock this evening. How strong these get will determine how well the atmosphere destabilizes ahead of this system. Again, we have plenty of storm energy over this part of the state. We have plenty of wind shear over this part of the state. But what we don't have is our lift. Our lift is staying mainly north. We have a boundary that is continuing to sag south. And as long as this boundary stays ahead of this line of storms, as it continues to push southeast very slowly, mind you, then our severe threat will remain on the lower side of things, at least throughout much of the overnight hours. And again, places like DeQueen, Texarkana, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, we're not going to be really dealing with many storms till we get towards the early morning hours, around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, even later with that. So again, folks, even our folks in Pine Bluff and Monticello, Eudora, Helena, we're not going to really be dealing with much, if any, in terms of thunderstorm or rain activity till we get into Wednesday morning, into Wednesday afternoon. So overall, I mean, in reality, a very lower end severe threat. Again, as expected, it is September. We don't really deal with these type of events significantly, especially in September. But as we get deeper, October and November, that's when our secondary severe season really starts to ramp up. And of course, we do have a brand new warning here, and this goes out here for our folks over here in Mississippi County, and this is going to be crossing over the Mississippi River here very, very, very soon. But again, so this is moving out. Again, we do have storms across central Arkansas right now. Those you can actually see from the Alexander camera on your screen right now, if we can pull up that. And then, of course, obviously, as you go further west, down south of Russellville and down towards Mena, which is where this radar storm is pushing off very, very slowly towards the south and east. But overall, we're not seeing a lot, and that's what we want to see. That's kind of where we're at right now, what we want to see as we go into the overnight hours.
That's pretty much it for right now. I'm still trying to fix it.
No, you're good, Cameron. You're good at all. If you would just pull up the Alexander camera. Yep. You're good. Yep. There we go. Love it. Beautiful view. There we go. So shout out to our folks at Therapeutic Family Services down there in Malvern. They have helped us with this camera as well. Also, shout out, as well. So again, this is our Little Rock First Alert camera. As y'all have seen many a time, as you can see, we are looking now off towards here. Here is Chenal Mountain. Right down here is Bryant. Again, we're looking north out of Alexander, and then, of course, as you go down here on towards the Benton area here. So what we're doing is we are looking right now, to the northwest into those storms in the Conway area, Moulton, up towards the Russell area. As you can see, we have a well-defined boundary that is ahead of these storms. So as long as this boundary stays ahead of these storms, we're not going to be dealing with much in the way of surface convection, basically surface rotation. Everything is going to be aloft. Yes, it's warm, 83 degrees, our dew point is 71, but again, as long as this activity stays on the north side of this boundary, we won't be dealing with anything in terms of surface base. But yeah, again, as you can see, a lot of lightning ongoing here up towards places like Conway, up towards places like Moulton, and then, of course, obviously towards the west over here, towards Benton, towards Bryant. We have a lot of different areas. But again, amazing, to finally be able to use these views on camera and actually be able to show you what we see live view. And of course, obviously, when there's a lot of lightning with these storms this evening as well. So if you do happen to go out and about, you definitely want to be aware of that as well. But overall, though, so far we're not dealing with a lot in the way of severe weather. Things have remained relatively tame, and our hope is that we do maintain that into the evening and the overnight hours. Of course, again, we will keep you updated. And Cameron, do you have anything else at this time right now? All right. So again, we will be back as Commissioner Warren right here on your source for all things Arkansas weather.